Maya, thank you, and that will do it for us today. I'm Chris Stewart. Denver 7 News at 5 starts right now.
The fighting in Ukraine must stop.
Hundreds of thousands flee Ukraine as calls for peace go unheard.
We are in our country, we're in our home, and now we need to leave it to the nowhere.
Russia's currency crumbles as sanctions take effect, while oil closes at its highest since 2014.
International humanitarian and human rights law must be upheld.
Denver students greet classmates without masks for the first time since the start of the pandemic.
I mean, it's nice to see people smiling. Just makes, everything else better.
And thieves turn car dealerships into their own personal chop shops.
We are losing the money and we cannot sell.
Good evening and thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Jessica Porter.
And I'm Shannon Ogden. Glad you're with us tonight. We're going to begin with the very latest on what's happening in Ukraine.
Ukrainian and Russian delegates are considering a second round of talks after meeting for 6 hours behind closed doors, trying to resolve the crisis. Also, the United Nations General Assembly held an emergency meeting for the first time in nearly 40 years today, condemning Russia's invasion. The UN says more than 500,000 people have fled Ukraine so far.
This escalating violence, which is resulting in civilian deaths, including children, is totally unacceptable. Enough is enough.
As for new actions, 12 Russian diplomats have been expelled from the UN. The International Criminal Court will open an investigation into possible Russian war crimes. Also, Shell has now joined BP in ending Russian oil and gas investments.
And that has resulted in higher oil prices. Oil today closed above $100 a barrel for the first time in more than 7 years. The national average now for a gallon of gasoline in the U.S. went up 8 cents a gallon from last week. Here in Colorado, we're still hovering about 25 cents less than the national average. Also, a calmer day of trading today. The Dow closed down 0.5%, S&P 500 lost 0.2%, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ closed up slightly.
Here in Colorado, the House and Senate both passed resolutions to stand with Ukraine while condemning Russia. Members of the House are urging Russia to immediately cease its violent, illegal, and immoral assault upon Ukraine and the needless bloodshed and return to diplomacy.
And reports out of Ukraine show the Russian invasion is not going as the Kremlin had hoped. Now, Christoph Stiefus with CU Denver believes that Ukraine will eventually fall, but that every day it does not, it will come as a high cost to Russia and Russia's president.
Ultimately, the Russians, I believe, will be victorious here. The problem is to make it as expensive as possible for the Russians at this point so that you can actually change the calculation of Putin himself or get Putin out of power.
The president will address the Russian invasion of Ukraine in his first State of the Union address tomorrow. President Biden will also talk about inflation and rising costs, increasing crime rates, and lingering coronavirus restrictions. You can watch the State of the Union right here on Denver 7 starting at 7. We'll also have in-depth 360 coverage of his speech on Denver 7 News at 10.
COVID restrictions are being lifted across the country and here in Colorado. CU Boulder will end its mask requirement next week, becoming one of the last Colorado universities to do so. And for the first time since the start of the pandemic, Denver public school students went to school without masks today. So for the first time in a long time, our faces are back on full display.
So let's get to our newest reporter here at Denver 7, Rob Harris. Now, Rob, you were out in downtown Denver, and we understand people seem to like this going maskless thing again.
Oh, very much so. And the science says that going maskless could have a big impact on not only the way that we communicate with each other, but just the way we feel in general. So with that, my photojournalist and I decided to do a little social experiment. We went out to 16th Street Mall right around lunchtime, and then we just recorded my interactions with people, half when I had my mask on and half when I did not have my mask on, to see what the difference was. Take a look. Hey guys.
So here's the honest truth. I was ignored by plenty of people.
Nope, not from them.
With my mask.
Hey, how's it going?
And without it. Probably because they thought I wanted to sell them something.
Not feeling it.
But I did get many friendly responses too. And I saw a lot of smiles out on 16th Street.
Why do you feel good today? The beautiful sunshine and the smiling faces. I agree, I'm with you. It's nice to see people smiling, you know? You asked me earlier today, I was walking by, about the day, and you had a big smile. I could tell you didn't have your mask on, but I mean,
it's contagious.
This is Sean. He's visiting Denver this week, and he's not wrong. We as humans are programmed to read the faces of our fellow humans and track our moods and interactions based off them. So just as a mask can cut down on transmission of a virus,
I like seeing smiles.
can also cut down on transmission of this important emotional information.
We as humans do get so much information from nonverbal communication, with facial expressions obviously being an essential component of that.
Dr. Jennifer Greenfield teaches social policy at DU, and she says the policies we've had to adopt during COVID have greatly impacted the way we communicate with each other. But she also says they've shown us just how adaptable we humans can be.
Talking with their hands, talking with their eyes, talking with their eyebrows even. And so it'll be interesting to see if those bigger gestures remain now that we have the benefit of our smiles or frowns or whatever.
Unmasked smiles was one reason I heard from people who are feeling fine today. But actually another science-backed serotonin booster got a lot of credit for happiness today too.
How you feeling today? Good. Why? It's sunny. That's a good answer.
The sun.
Out in the sunshine today, it's like 60 degrees. So coming from where we were last week, I mean, it's pretty awesome.
And so, at least for now, the weather and the virus are letting us shed the jackets and the masks.
When people are, in a good spot, they're smiling, they're talking to each other, like it just makes everything else better.
And so guys, the takeaway from Dr. Greenfield is that we will adapt. We'll adapt to getting rid of the masks, and then if a variant should come up and we need the masks again, we'll adapt to that too. Now, as for my social experiment, I gotta say, even more so than the masks, it was earphones that kept me from communicating with most people out there, but I don't think those are going anywhere anytime soon. Back to you guys.
Sometimes technology gets in the way, but it really makes you appreciate the small things. Thank you, Rob.
A waterline break at DIA causing a setback to airport expansion project, and it's going to cost more than $50 million to repair. Denver 7 learned about the waterline break through City Aviation Committee meetings held last week. Now, the hot water line that was damaged is on the east side of the airport. It ruptured in December. The airport says it will be covered by insurance and hopefully repaired by the fall.
Catalytic converter thefts remain a major problem in the Denver metro. Denver police just sent us new numbers that show 280 catalytic converters have been stolen off cars so far just this year. Now, last year, DPD says more than 2,600 were stolen. Now thieves are targeting dealerships.
Denver 7 Sloan Dickey joins us live outside one of those dealerships. This is off East Colfax. Sloan, the dealerships are the ones who have to pay to replace those stolen converters.
Yeah, they certainly will, and it's definitely a big issue for smaller dealerships that say that they can't handle those costs as the theft of catalytic converters goes up.
This is what it sounds like
Just too loud.
when a catalytic converter is stolen.
Now I know I'm gonna lose the money.
Thieves no longer going after the whole car at Jambo Motors in Denver, but just one valuable part costing thousands to replace.
It's $3,333.
Jambo Wildohannes has been hit 12 times over the past year.
My costs went up by $20,000 plus.
Thousands in damages and a fleet of now unsellable cars sitting on the lot.
Yeah, we are losing the money. And we cannot sell. I have to park this car until I get a catalytic converter.
It's a problem for everybody.
It's a problem across Colorado. Daniel Birkencotter owns stores across the Front Range. All of them have been hit.
We've had over 17 vehicles that the cats were cut off of.
According to the Colorado Independent Automobile Dealers Association, since 2019, Colorado has seen a 5,000% increase in catalytic converter thefts.
I have gotten calls daily for about the last 10 months. The thefts on catalytic converters.
A problem crippling the industry.
Members are going out of business. We've had members close their doors because they've been hit more than once.
CEO David Cardella says there's a solution. He's lobbying for Senate Bill 9 that would allow repair shops to install much cheaper aftermarket catalytic converters in the state. It's been banned since 2018. Critics say the move would be environmentally destructive, allowing more dangerous car exhaust into the air, even if it would save hundreds on repairs.
We need to get these cars back on the road in an inexpensive and timely manner.
For now, Jambo is left to pay for more security and check each one of his nearly 100 cars each morning. And then calculate the damage when he hears a sound like this.
Now, Senate Bill 9 is still under consideration in the Colorado legislature. Meanwhile, small car dealerships like Jumbo's here say they need any protection they can get as the rise in thefts in catalytic converters. In downtown Denver, Sloan Dickey, Denver 7.
All it takes is just one time.
Getting in is easy. Getting out can feel impossible.
Before you know it, years are gone.
A story of enduring and surviving addiction after the break.
I overdosed myself, and my 12-year-old son actually had to give me CPR.
Plus, new lights will slow down your merge on I-25 and the surprising features on Colorado's brand new driver's license.
There's a lot of unique features that really speak to why we call this wonderful place home.